I've received a number of reports from students who took the January LSAT and were shocked to find their score had dropped 10, 20 points from their practice tests, even though they felt like test day went fine. Today, I'll walk you through what I think might be going on. For those who don't know me, my name is Steve Schwartz. I've been teaching the LSAT since 2005, and I personally increased my own LSAT score from a 152 to a 175. The first thing you have to consider is that there is a natural selection bias in those who post on forums and message boards and those who reach out and share their stories. We're naturally going to hear about the more extreme situations, and the more negative situations will tend to get more attention and more play. Someone who gets a test day result that is identical to their practice test average probably isn't going to talk about it that much because it simply isn't that noteworthy, and even someone who scores better than their average will be happy about it. They might talk about it a bit, but unfortunately, social media and human psychology leads us to focus more on negative, outlandish, extreme examples than those that are more typical or even those that are more positive. So selection bias here is one factor. There are also some conspiracy theories going around that LSAC has made the LSAT harder to balance it out with those who took the previous format with logic games, which was maybe somehow easier because logic games is easier to perfect. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because while logic games might have been easier for some folks, logic games was also harder for other folks. Could be a bit of a wash. Ever since LSAT removed the logic game section and replaced it with second scored logical reasoning section, of course, some students were hurt by the change, others were helped, but those may cancel each other out, and bottom line, of course, it is what it is. However, there has also been a lot of LSAT score inflation over the past few years due to the temporary LSAT flex format being easier, and also, more importantly, a significant increase in LSAC granting accommodations, which has led to rising LSAT medians and shifts in LSAT percentiles. So for example, all of the top 14 law schools now have LSAT score medians of 170 or above, and it used to be that scoring a 173 put you in the 99th percentile, but now you've got to get a 175 to be in the 99th percentile, and so LSAC could be making the curve harder to account for this. And if this is in fact the case, it certainly doesn't seem quite fair to me for LSAC to make such a radical change over such a short period of time. They should instead make any changes more gradually, but the bottom line, it is what it is, and you're going to want to focus on drilling tough questions to be ready for anything if you are in fact taking the LSAT going forward. And at LSAT Unplugged, we will create for you a personalized day-by-day study plan, mapping out exactly what to do every single day from now through your LSAT retake, whether you're taking the LSAT in February, April, or beyond. Because if you want to get a different result next time, you've got to prep differently. If there's a resource you were considering but didn't pursue it, now's the time. And the best way to prep, especially if you're on a shorter timeline for February or April, it's going to be private one-on-one coaching, personalized to exactly what you need to work on your schedule. If you're interested in finding out more about how we could support you at LSAT Unplugged, you could check out the links below to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. And by the way, one final option for you here, if you're one of those students whose scores dropped 10, 20 points or more from your PT average and you feel like something definitely went wrong with LSAC's scoring, there is a score audit option. It costs $150. It could be a bit of a money grab on LSAC's part because it's an artifact from back when the LSAT was on paper. It's now computerized, so it's not as if you might have misbubbled or there was an issue with a Scantron machine. But if you want the peace of mind, it might be worth pursuing. But one thing to consider is that if your new score comes back higher or lower, if there is a change as a result of that audit, that new higher or lower score will stand whatever the outcome, and you can't do a score audit for a second time. Anyway, folks, that's all for now. Feel free to reach out if I can help in any way. And in the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.